All right, I'm headed out. I don't know when I'll be back. Traffic's kind of bad. Might have to work late. I want to hit the gym after work. I'll call you later. Okay, bye. Ugh. 7 o'clock. Gym's gonna be so busy. I haven't cooked. I'm just gonna have to try to go tomorrow. I've gotta get home. Welcome to the video. Today, I'm talking about how to get jacked while still working a 9-to-5. I still work a 9-to-5 tech job, and recently people have been asking me how I'm able to be adding muscle, doing my work, and building this channel all at the same time. If you're anything like me, you probably have a long list of things that you want to do in life that just require a higher level of physical capability than a lot of other people want to have. But you probably also have a list just as long of your responsibilities and other priorities in life. Maybe you have a family or a business or a whole bunch of other priorities that make it really hard to train, let alone accomplish all of those other things on that list of things you want to get done. I know personally I'm happiest when I'm able to train hard and knock those things off without messing up the rest of the things that I prioritize in my life. With that in mind, let's get to tip number one. Number one, dial in your diet. It kind of goes without saying, but one of the most important parts in being able to pack on muscle is to fuel your body. That becomes increasingly hard when you're working from 9 to 5 and maybe driving to the job and all of these other things. But your diet really has to be effective for two important reasons. Number one, you need to be providing your body everything that it needs to build muscle and burn fat. Number two, you have to be eating at the right times and the right types of food to maintain energy to actually be able to work and get through your day effectively, making progress on whatever you're building. When I plan my week out, I always think about two things. How can I get my 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, which is a really easy baseline for everybody to target, and how can I conveniently get in my meals throughout the day? So, a couple of the things that I do to make things convenient is I order groceries and have them delivered. Number two, I make foods that are quick and easy. And sometimes that includes things like this packaged rice. It's just pre-cooked rice that I can throw in the microwave for 90 seconds and have a serving of rice. Now, we'll talk about training in a minute, but the one thing I consider when I'm thinking about my energy levels is how can I eat around training and kind of avoid eating for the rest of the day. The easiest way to structure my day around my energy is to get carbs and protein around workouts and then try not to eat in the busiest parts of my day. Another really convenient thing to do is breakfast should be quick and easy. Mine is almost always just eggs. Things like eggs can go in the microwave. If you've ever gone to the grocery store and you see those containers of like ready to eat breakfasts and they have cheese and bacon and eggs, you're typically adding an egg to it and throwing it in the microwave. So if I'm in a huge rush, I'll throw a couple eggs in a bowl, I'll stir it around, mix it up, and then throw it in the microwave. I don't really like that, especially since just throwing some eggs in a skillet really doesn't take that long. Now, if you don't like eggs, you can always do a protein shake or a protein bar or something like that. But me personally, I like to do a heavy protein and fat breakfast. I might even add some cheese, throw it in a skillet real quick, and then hit the road. So there you go, in under 6 minutes, including time messing with the camera, I was able to cook up 3 eggs and these little protein balls that my girlfriend loves. 2 of those is 8 grams of protein. 3 eggs is anywhere from 12 to 18 grams of protein. Great quick breakfast. Like I said, you can always add a protein shake. You can do that in 5 minutes and hit the road. I've experimented with tons of different types of diets. One of the best for energy levels was the OMAD diet, and I'll link it up here. You can kind of watch how that might benefit your energy. But the problem with diets like that for me was that I just couldn't get enough protein to add muscle. I couldn't get enough food in one sitting without being completely dead and just like bloated all the time and things like that. So there are ways around it, but the biggest thing I focus on is convenience. And you can still have good foods that not only taste good, but are actually good, whether that's organic or pasture raised or grass fed, whatever things you need. You can still do that and have convenient meals. So if you have the money to do it, have someone meal prep for you, or do something like Factor or Trifecta or Icon Meals. I love those services. A lot of them are geared towards bodybuilding, and you can get all of the nutrients both macro and micro that you need. So, like I said, every morning I do these eggs. I'm adding these little protein balls because it's gonna give me some carbs. It's not a 9 to 5 workday for me, but this is my morning. I do my green shake with electrolytes and creatine, and then I work throughout the day. Once I get to lunch, what I do for the week is I meal prep all of my meat for 3 days. On the grill, I can throw all of the steaks and chicken that I want on the grill and have 3 days worth of meat ready. So at lunch, I might have a little bit of fruit or a little bit of rice or something that's not too carb heavy and a chicken breast or a steak. And that's gonna help me get that protein in throughout the day, but not tank my energy levels. If you like to go out and eat for lunch, which a lot of times I'll order lunch because, maybe I forgot my lunch or we're going out to lunch with some of the people I work with, there's always an option for something healthy in almost any restaurant you go to. Maybe excluding some really crappy fast food chains, you can always go in and order vegetables and meats. You can leave off sauces, you can leave out French fries and chips and all of the extra things and just get a water or a coffee or a tea and have your meats and veggies. Don't worry about going to eat. And then the last tip I have for the meals during your workday is bring snacks with you. I know personally that water and food are hard to get throughout the day because you're sitting at a desk, maybe you have meetings, constantly having to walk back and forth. Carry something that you don't have to refill all the time. Keep your water with you and keep protein heavy snacks, whether it's something like an RX bar or what I bring a lot of the time is just clean beef jerky. That way I can add up the protein throughout my day. I don't have to stress out and I can put my heavy meal towards the end of the day. Now, supplements are great. Supplements like protein shakes and protein bars and creatine and whatever else. So as far as supplements, as always, I do my greens, electrolytes. I love coffee. It's actually the only stimulant that I use as a pre-workout. This Get Shit Done is my go-to. It's highly caffeinated. It's specialty grade coffee, which means as soon as you order it, we roast it fresh and send it to you. The only stimulant I use is coffee, and I'll do that shortly after lunch. And actually, what I'm about to go do is go get a non-stim pre-workout and try that out. I've added creatine and electrolytes and greens for a very long time with just coffee, and it's been great. But we're gonna go over to the vitamin shop and pick up a non-stim pre-workout. Guys, that is it for tip number 1. Let's go get some pre-workout and hit the gym. All right, I went in to get the Transparent Labs or Swolverine, but they weren't carrying either one of those non-stims. So I ended up going with Gorilla Mode, the stimulant-free pre-workout formula. The flavor isn't great. I've had this before, but Derek knows what he's doing. It's got some pretty good ingredients. I've never had an issue with stimulant-based pre-workouts. I've actually had some of my best lifts on a really high dose, like 300 plus milligrams of caffeine. But I always have to worry about like crapping my pants or just being nauseated the entire workout. I think it messes with my heart rate a little bit more than I like and things like that. So I've gotten by and actually done really well with just having coffee. I usually only have 2 coffees, one in the morning and one after lunch. And that second one carries me through to my workout. So these pumps are great. I haven't had one of these in a while. I actually had 1 scoop a couple days ago of a friend's. And I was like, this is actually pretty good. We're gonna get this in, a little scoop of Gorilla Mode, go hit shoulders. Saturday shoulder workout went pretty well. I don't know that the pre-workout made a huge difference, but I had some of the heaviest sets that I've had in a long time. I haven't shoulder pressed, standing strict pressed in a while. That was decent. My seated shoulder press was crazy. It was a good workout. I'm gonna stick with the pre-workout for now. Non-stim, gorilla mode, good stuff. Post-workout brings me to number 2, pick your training program. So here's the thing about your training program. There's 2 things you have to look at. What time of day do you want to train, and how many days per week do you want to train? Now, if you're watching this video, I know that number 1, you want to train, you want to add muscle, and number 2, you're trying to find a way to work this into your existing lifestyle and make it a better habit. With that being said, I recommend that you train at the most convenient time of the day where you can get it in every single day. Along with that, I recommend that you get in 4 to 5 days a week. Someone commented on my video last week and said, it might be highly unnecessary for you to be in more than 4 days a week, and that's true. If you're an advanced level athlete, or if you're just looking at the literature saying you really don't need those extra days, it's about creating the habit. So if you know that you have to get up and work out in the morning every day, even if you're just walking or running or doing some abs or whatever, and you're getting into the habit of going, you're creating that habit. And that's the important part. So let's talk about the different times of day and their benefits, and the different types of training programs, meaning different number of days a week that you can get in the gym. Okay, so personally, I go to the gym 4 days a week. I'm doing basically a bro split where it's a body part 4 days a week, and the other 3 days I'm doing Muay Thai or boxing or going for a run. I prefer the Muay Thai or boxing, but that way it's just consistent for me. I always recommend power building programs because if you're trying to add mass, you can do a power building program in a 4-day split where you're doing one heavy compound lift at the beginning of each day, deadlift, squat, bench press, and some sort of shoulder press. And then you can do your accessory lifts in a bodybuilding style after that. I've seen both the most strength gains and the most size gains without risk of injury consistently the most with that type of program over all of my years of lifting. I've gotten stronger faster on basic powerlifting programs. I've gotten a little bit bigger on just plain bodybuilding programs, but that mix is what's worked best for me. Now, if you're just wanting to bodybuild and put on size, then yeah, go to a 4 or 5 day bodybuilding program. Try a couple different programs and see what you like best. But I recommend that you're in the gym every day or doing something where you have to get up and leave and go work out, because it's about establishing the habit. Now, in terms of the time of day that you should work out, first and most important priority is that you're getting in the gym. If that means that you're going at midnight, so be it. If that means that you're going at 3 o'clock in the morning, so be it. There are optimal times where your testosterone and cortisol and body temperature and all those things are optimized, but that's secondary. Once you've established the habit, you can really start to play with, okay, what works best with my schedule and what feels best. So testosterone and cortisol are highest in the morning, but cortisol is catabolic. It's a stress hormone. And there are some studies that have showed that the high cortisol levels are actually diminishing your ability to make gains if you're working out in the morning. But there are benefits like burning more calories throughout the day and just having it out of the way in the morning. Like getting up and grinding first thing in the morning, being a savage at sunrise is one of the best feelings in the world. Personally, I like to lift about 12 to 2 p.m. in the afternoon. It rarely works out that I get to do that. And so if I can make it happen, I get to the gym 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening, I knock it out, and then I can go eat dinner and do all those things. Your testosterone is a lot lower, but your core temperature is higher in the afternoon, and your nerves are firing at a much higher rate. Your central nervous system is driving at a much better rate, which just means you can recruit more muscle fibers. So me personally, my ideal day is right around lunchtime, typically fasted or having had breakfast in the morning and then having lunch or some kind of late meal after I lift, and then being able to kind of relax throughout the afternoon. My lifts are the heaviest, my volume is the highest. I just feel best in the afternoon. I always have, and I will always ideally put my workouts there. Now, again, the most important part here is that you're getting in the gym consistently. You're doing it around your schedule because you have other priorities. For me, the best way to do that is to put my big lifts, my shoulders, my legs on Saturday and Sunday. Because even if you're getting up and doing it first thing in the morning or in the middle of the day or at night, you know you can sleep in a little bit, you can catch up on that sleep, and you can get in a kick-ass lift. So to recap, number one, most important priority is to get it in where it works consistently with your schedule. Other than that, get in, do some heavy lifting, get some shit done. Let's get to number three, write down your priorities. By writing down your priorities, you know what to work on a daily basis. So there's a lot of different ways to think about this. What always comes to mind for me is when Jesse Itzler talks about having different buckets in life. You can think about it like a triangle or like different buckets, and you only have so much water to fill these buckets. The buckets for most people should be health, family, and business. So your profession, whatever that is, most of your priorities during the day are going to go towards your profession. And then your health. This could include hobbies. It could include working out. It's a thing that you need to prioritize for your entire life if you want to not only have a long life, but if you want to have a happy life where you feel good and you feel like you can accomplish more on a daily basis. And then of course, for all of us, we have family or our relationships, whatever you want to call that bucket or that point of the triangle. If you add any other things on those triangle, you're going to be really sucking away priority and attention from one of those three items. So a lot of my hobbies and a lot of my friends tend to fall in that health category for me. They still fall into my relationships, but even something like this channel allows me to work out and focus on my health, but still build a business on the side. And so when I write down those priorities, I'm able to see things that don't matter, going out to do certain things and see certain people, and I'm able to cut those out of the priority list and really focus on the things that not only move me forward, but just simply matter to me the most. So write down your priority list and really focus on how much energy you're willing to give to make sure that the things on that priority list get attacked every single day. You're seeing your family, you're seeing your friends, you're really working on your business, and you're really going after it in the gym. These three are a huge part of my priority list, and I make sure to work them in every single day. So I'm sure you have kids, I'm sure you have other things to focus on. I work my friends in there, but I know that a certain part of my day, every day, is going to go to them in some capacity. Are you proud of yourself? Drink all the water. Once you have your priorities written down, you can move on to number 4, which is to establish new habits. Establishing new habits is the only way that you're actually going to see progress and do these things consistently. So there's really simple ways to establish new habits. If you've ever read the book Atomic Habits, that gives you great examples on how to establish new positive habits and get rid of old bad habits. But one of the easiest things to do is to stack your habits and make things easy. In other words, if you have something that you already do on a daily basis, like brush your teeth, and you want to start to do a new thing, stack that thing with brushing your teeth. And in this context, a great example is to start stacking your fitness throughout the day. So if you have a difficult time burning calories or getting to the gym or doing a lot of these things that will make you more fit, stack them on what you already do. If you're already brushing your teeth, walk around while you brush your teeth. Don't just stand there. If you're already taking meetings on a phone, walk around while you take these meetings. Get a standing desk. If you're already doing these things on a daily basis, stack the new habit with the existing habit, and it makes it so much easier. When you're trying to implement more difficult habits, let's say you're not going to the gym 5 days a week and you want to start doing that, make it impossible for yourself to miss your goal. If you're trying to get up early, set your alarm way away from your bed. So you have to get up and walk to that alarm to turn it off, and then maybe your workout clothes are right next to your alarm. You can put it in the bathroom with your toothbrush out so you can brush your teeth immediately, grab your workout clothes, and then hit the door. Those are really easy ways to start implementing new habits, and your habits are what are going to get you through consistently to where you'll actually see these gains. One more tip in terms of habits: if you're trying to implement a new goal, even if it's just trying to add some muscle or hit a new deadlift PR, try to go find people that are in similar situations. This isn't necessarily a habit, but if you can go be around people that also have a family and also have a 9-to-5 and also kind of struggle to get in, you start to build a community, which is why a lot of us go to the gym. We get to go talk to our friends and see people, and it might only be for an hour or an hour and a half, but we're kind of struggling and growing together. Once you start to establish that community, you can go one step further and pick a big goal for the year or the quarter. So a lot of my closest friends, I met them through training for an Ironman. We decided independently before we knew each other that we wanted to do this big goal, and then we started training, and then we started to meet each other, and now we're really close friends. And so we actually have a hard time not picking something big to do every year or every quarter. And that makes the training kind of easy because we know that we have to keep up with each other. We know that we're going to let each other down. We know that we're just not going to have as much fun, but it gives us something very specific to train for. And in terms of this goal, it could be a bodybuilding competition. It could be a powerlifting meet. It could be a Spartan race. Just focus on implementing those new habits. You'll definitely see gains. Number 5 is something I'm really working on making a habit of myself, because a lot of us, especially me, are guilty of leaving this one out. Number 5 is to maximize your recovery. Recovery is really a few important things. Number 1 is nutrition. We already talked about that. First thing in the morning, hydrate, follow your nutrition, get enough protein, give your body what it needs to rebuild. Number 2 is sleep. I've talked in other videos about getting enough sleep. That is one of the biggest things that people miss when trying to build muscle. If you're not sleeping, you're not actually giving your body the time that it needs to rebuild. So if you're not sleeping, try to see if you can find ways to make your sleep better, more efficient. Look at some sleep supplements, not sleep medications, but sleep supplements. Andrew Huberman has a great sleep cocktail. I believe it's magnesium threonate and something else. It's not melatonin, but get better sleep. That's number 2. Number 3 is movement. Now, a lot of you know what a foam roller is and looks like. And just along with your habits, make it easy on yourself. Foam rollers are cheap. These little lacrosse balls are free. If you go walk around a college and find them on the ground, people lose them all the time. But even if you buy them, they're only a couple bucks each. These massage guns, you can keep these in your office. You can keep these in my home office. You can keep them in your living room. You can keep them anywhere you want. They're super easy, they're pretty quiet, and they're convenient to keep around. But the problem that most of us have is we don't use them. So along with this, movement could be walking. Movement could be something loaded. So not necessarily lifting, but doing things like farmer's walks, and recovery workouts is what we used to call them when I was on the track team. We had an entire day dedicated to basically just doing abs and going through movements. So it wasn't running a lot or throwing or doing a lot of heavy lifting. It was just abs and movement, maybe some lunges, maybe a little jogging, maybe some med balls and things like that. And that increased our recovery. So get yourself a foam roller, do some foam rolling, do these type of stretches where maybe you're watching TV at night, and instead of sitting on the couch, you sit on the floor with your dogs or your kids, and you just sit like this, or you sit like this. Super small, simple changes that will allow you to recover and not actually change anything about your schedule. Guys, that's 5 easy tips to get and stay jacked while you're working 9 to 5. Go get some shit done, never rest. Oh,